Zyx'tral slithered into the intergalactic cartography office, his gelatinous form quivering with excitement. Today was the day he'd finally get his first real assignment as a junior cartographer for the Galactic Federation. He'd spent years studying the intricate art of planetary classification, memorizing thousands of criteria and their corresponding numerical values. Now, he was ready to put all that knowledge to use. The office was a bustling hive of activity, with various alien species scurrying about, their appendages laden with holographic star charts and data pads. Zyx'tral made his way to the assignment desk, leaving a faint trail of slime in his wake. "Ah, Zyx'tral," boomed Senior Cartographer Clo Blorp, his 7 eyes blinking in sequence. "Ready for your first solo classification?" Zyx'tral's entire body bobbed in an enthusiastic nod. "Oh yes, Senior Clo Blorp. I've been practicing on simulations for months. I'm ready to tackle anything." Clo Blorp's central mouth twisted into what passed for a smirk in his species. Well, confident are we? Let's see how you handled this one." He slid a data pad across the desk. "We've got a backwater planet in some obscure arm of the Milky Way. Been on our to-do list for ages, but no one's bothered with it. Probably another boring class 1 or 2. Get it done by end of day, and don't forget to double-check your math." Zyx'tral's body rippled with determination as he absorbed the data pad into his gelatinous form. "I won't let you down, Senior Clo Blorp." As he oozed back to workstation, Zyx'tral could hear Clo Blorp's wheezing laughter. "Ah, the newbie thinks he's got an easy one. Wait till he sees what that mudball's really like." Settling into his ergonomic slime mold chair, Zyx'tral began to analyze the data streaming across his neural interface. The planet in question was a small blue-green orb orbiting an unremarkable yellow dwarf star. Its inhabitants called it Earth, which Zyx'tral's translator unhelpfully informed him meant dirt in the dominant local language. "All right, let's see what we've got here," Zyx'tral muttered to himself, his voice bubbling through his gelatinous form. "Atmosphere composition, mostly nitrogen and oxygen. Boring. Surface covered 71% by dihydrogen monoxide. Yawn. Gravity 9.8 ms2. That's a bit on the high side. Let's start adding up the points." As Zyx'tral delved deeper into Earth's characteristics, he began to notice some peculiarities. The planet's axial tilt caused dramatic seasonal changes. Its active plate tectonics resulted in earthquakes and volcanic eruptions. The data on weather patterns made his pseudopods twitch nervously. Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards, and they all happen regularly. That can't be right." Zyx'tral double-checked his calculations, his body turning a pale shade of green with concern. But it was when he got to the section on Earth's flora and fauna that Zyx'tral's gelatinous form began to quiver uncontrollably. No. This has to be a mistake," he gurgled, his voice rising in pitch with each word. "Apex predators with sharp teeth and claws? Venomous creatures on land and in the water? Plants that can cause severe allergic reactions just by touching them?" Zyx'tral's mind reeled as he continued to tally up the danger points. Every new piece of information seemed more terrifying than the last. By the time he got to the section on the dominant sentient species, humans, he was practically oozing anxiety. "They're endothermic persistence predators with opposable thumbs and complex problem-solving abilities," Zyx'tral whispered in horror. "And they've developed nuclear weapons." The final tally made Zyx'tral's entire body wobble in disbelief. He double-checked, triple-checked, and then checked again for good measure, but the result remained the same. With a sound that was half gulp, half sob, Zyx'tral slithered back to Senior Clo Blorp's desk. "Ah, finished already?" Clo Blorp said, not looking up from his own work. "Let me guess. Class 1, maybe a spicy Class 2? Zyx'tral's voice came out as a squeaky burble. "It's a Class 14 Deathworld, sir." The office fell silent. Every alien turned to stare at the quivering junior cartographer. Clo Blorp's 7 eyes blinked rapidly, then narrowed in suspicion. "Don't be ridiculous, Zyx'tral. There's no such thing as a Class 14. The scale only goes up to 12. "I know, Sir," Zyx'tral whimpered, "but I checked and rechecked. The numbers don't lie. This Earth is so dangerous it broke our classification system." Clo Blorp snatched the data pad from Zyx'tral's trembling pseudopod and began scrolling through the report. His eyes widened with each swipe, and his color changed from a confident blue to a sickly yellow. "By the great void," Clo Blorp muttered. "The newbie's right. This can't be possible." Word spread quickly through the office. Soon a crowd of curious and horrified aliens had gathered around Clo Blorp's desk, all clamoring to see the data on this impossible planet. "Look at this," exclaimed Vrix, a spindly arachnoid analyst. "They have organisms called mosquitoes that suck blood and spread diseases. For fun." "Fun? Forget that," chittered Zoke, a hive mind of tiny crystalline beings. They have something called allergies where their bodies overreact to harmless substances and try to kill themselves. Oh, this is rich, laughed Gloop, a sentient fungus. Their planet is mostly covered in water, but they can't breathe it, and yet they still go swimming. For recreation. As the aliens continued to pore over the data, their reactions ranged from hysterical laughter to abject terror. Zyx'tral, meanwhile, had retreated to a corner, trying to make himself as small and inconspicuous as possible. I don't understand, he burbled miserably. How can anything survive on such a planet, let alone evolve sentience? Blorp, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly slammed all 4 of his appendages on the desk. Enough. This is clearly a mistake. There must be some error in our data collection. Zyx'tral. The junior cartographer quivered. Why, yes, sir. You're going to Earth. We need boots on the ground, or pseudopods on the surface to verify this data. Zyx'tral's entire body went pale. And me? But sir, if the data is correct, I'll be killed instantly. Blorp waved a dismissive tentacle. Nonsense. We'll outfit you with our best protective gear. Besides, if this planet is really as dangerous as the data suggests, we need to know. The fate of the galaxy could be at stake. And so a few solar cycles later, Zyx'tral found himself encased in a state-of-the-art environmental suit, standing, or rather, oozing on the launch pad of the Galactic Federation's exploration vessel. Remember, Blorp's voice crackled through the comm system. Your mission is to observe and report. Do not, under any circumstances, make contact with the humans. We don't know how dangerous they might be. Zyx'tral gulped, a sound that resembled a plunger being pulled from a gelatinous toilet. Understood, sir. I'll be careful. As the ship's engines roared to life, Zyx'tral couldn't help but wonder if he should have chosen a safer career. Like antimatter juggling or black hole surfing, the journey to Earth was uneventful, which only served to heighten Zyx'tral's anxiety. As they approached the blue-green planet, he pressed his face, or what passed for it, against the viewport, marveling at the swirling clouds and vast oceans. It doesn't look so bad from up here, he mused. The ship's AI, Dave, digitally animated vehicular entity, chimed in with its annoyingly chipper voice. Oh, don't let appearances fool you. Did you know that those pretty white swirls are actually massive storm systems capable of leveling entire cities? Isn't nature fascinating? Zyx'tral groaned. Thanks, Dave. That's very reassuring. Happy to help, Dave replied, completely missing the sarcasm. Now please secure yourself for atmospheric entry. It's going to get a little bumpy. Bumpy turned out to be an understatement. As the ship plunged into Earth's atmosphere, Zyx'tral felt like he was being put through a gelatinous blender. By the time they touched down in a remote forest clearing, he resembled nothing so much as a quivering blob of jelly in a vaguely humanoid suit. We have arrived, Dave announced cheerfully. Current local conditions, temperature 30 degrees, humidity 85%, chance of sudden death approximately 67%. Have a nice day. Zyx'tral took a deep breath, or the closest approximation his species could manage, and stepped out of the ship. The first thing that hit him was the heat. Even through his protective suit, he could feel the oppressive warmth seeping in. Great galaxies, he muttered. How do they stand it? As if in answer, a group of humans jogged past the clearing, wearing nothing but thin, brightly colored clothes. They were sweating profusely and appeared to be smiling. They're enjoying this, Zyx'tral said incredulously. Dave, are you sure they're not in distress? Negative, Dave replied. According to my analysis, they are engaging in a voluntary activity known as exercise. Apparently, humans intentionally stress their bodies to improve their physical condition. Isn't that delightfully masochistic? Zyx'tral shook his head in disbelief and began to explore the forest. Every step brought new terrors. He flinched at every rustle in the undergrowth, convinced that some terrifying predator was about to leap out and devour him. As he moved deeper into the woods, he suddenly heard a high-pitched buzzing near his auditory receptor. Before he could react, something small and winged landed on his suit. Dave, he screeched. What is that? Is it dangerous? Am I going to die? After a moment of analysis, Dave responded, it appears to be a common housefly, Musca domestica. While capable of spreading diseases, it poses no immediate threat to your life. Isn't biodiversity wonderful? Wonderful isn't the word I'd use, Zyx'tral grumbled, carefully shooing away the fly. As he continued his exploration, Zyx'tral encountered more of Earth's terrifying flora and fauna. He nearly had a meltdown when a squirrel suddenly darted across his path. Convinced it was some kind of furry assassin, a patch of poison ivy sent him into a panic, even though Dave assured him his suit would protect him from its oils. But it was the encounter with the human child that really threw him for a loop. Zyx'tral had just emerged from the forest into a small park when he heard a high-pitched squeal. Turning, he saw a tiny human running towards him at full speed. Alien, the child shrieked with delight. Mommy, look, it's an alien. Zyx'tral froze in terror. This was it. This was how he died. torn apart by a pint-sized apex predator on a Class 14 Deathworld. But instead of attacking, the child skidded to a stop in front of him and looked up with wide, curious eyes. "Are you from Mars? Do you have a spaceship? Can I see it?" Before Zyx'tral could process what was happening, a larger human, presumably the child's mother, hurried over. "Jimmy, what have I told you about running up to strangers?" She scolded, then turned to Zyx'tral with an apologetic smile. "I'm so sorry about that. He's going through an alien phase. Love the costume, by the way. Are you here for the Sci-Fi convention?" Zyx'tral stood there, utterly baffled. These humans weren't attacking him. They weren't even afraid of him. In fact, they seemed friendly. "Dave," he whispered urgently, "what do I do?" "I suggest maintaining your cover," Dave replied. "Perhaps try to blend in with local customs. Might I suggest a friendly wave?" Hesitantly, Zyx'tral raised a pseudopod and waved it in what he hoped was a non-threatening manner. The mother laughed. "Oh, you're really staying in character. That's dedication. Well, have fun at the convention." As the humans walked away, Zyx'tral could hear the child pestering his mother. "But Mom, what if he really was an alien? That would be so cool." Zyx'tral stood there for a long moment, trying to process what had just happened. These humans, these terrifying apex predators, had mistaken him for one of their own in a costume. And instead of attacking or fleeing, they had been curious and friendly. "Dave," he said slowly, "I think we may need to reconsider our classification system." Over the next few days, Zyx'tral continued his observations, each one challenging his preconceptions about this death world. And yes, there were dangers. He nearly had a heart attack, or 3 when he witnessed a thunderstorm. But the humans seemed to take it all in stride. He watched in amazement as they swam in the ocean, knowing it was full of creatures that could kill them. He saw them climb mountains, hurtle down snowy slopes on thin boards, and even jump out of perfectly good aircraft for fun. But what truly astounded him was their resilience and adaptability. Humans had spread to every corner of their world, from searing deserts to frozen tundras. They'd built towering cities, delved deep into the earth, and even begun to explore space. As his mission came to an end, Zyx'tral found himself reluctant to leave. Earth was indeed dangerous, but it was also beautiful, vibrant, and full of life in a way he'd never experienced before. Back at the Galactic Federation headquarters, Zyx'tral presented his findings to a packed auditorium of alien scientists and bureaucrats. "In conclusion," he said, his voice filled with a confidence he never knew he possessed, "while Earth does present numerous environmental challenges and potential dangers, I believe our initial classification was, well, let's just say it was a bit overdramatic." A murmur ran through the crowd. Claude Blorp, sitting in the front row, looked like he was about to have an aneurysm in all 7 of his brains. "But the data," someone shouted. "The numbers don't lie." Zyx'tral nodded. "The numbers were correct, but our interpretation was flawed. Yes, Earth is objectively more dangerous than many planets we've encountered, but we failed to account for the incredible adaptability and resilience of its dominant species." He brought up a series of images on the holographic display. Humans living in the Sahara Desert, in the Amazon rainforest, and Antarctic research stations. Humans have not just survived their world, they've thrived in it. They've turned many of its dangers into opportunities for growth and advancement. Their scientific curiosity and technological innovation are driven, in part, by the very challenges their planet presents. Zyx'tral paused, allowing his words to sink in. The auditorium was silent, every alien deep in thought. "Furthermore," he continued, his gelatinous form rippling with excitement, "I believe we've been looking at this all wrong. Instead of classifying Earth as a death world, perhaps we should be classifying it as an adaptability crucible." The room erupted in a cacophony of alien voices, some outraged, others intrigued. Claude Blorp's 7 eyes were blinking so rapidly they looked like a malfunctioning strobe light. "Preposterous," shouted Vrix, the spindly arachnoid analyst. "Next you'll be saying we should invite these humans to join the Galactic Federation." Zyx'tral's body rippled in what passed for a shrug among his species. "Why not? Think about it. A species that can not only survive, but thrive in such a challenging environment. Imagine what they could teach us about adaptability, resilience, and problem-solving." "But they're savages," Gloop the sentient fungus protested. "They still have wars, poverty, environmental issues." "True," Zyx'tral conceded. "They're far from perfect. But consider this, despite all their challenges, both environmental and self-imposed, they've achieved spaceflight, begun exploring their solar system, and are actively searching for life beyond their world. Their potential is, well, frankly, it's a little terrifying, but also exciting." As the debate raged on, Zyx'tral couldn't help but feel a sense of pride. He'd gone to Earth expecting to confirm its status as a deadly, inhospitable world. Instead, he'd discovered a planet teeming with life and possibility, home to a species that refused to be limited by their environment. Suddenly, a new voice cut through the chaos. "I say we put it to a vote." All eyes and various other sensory organs turned to the speaker. It was Zlobnax, the ancient and revered head of the Galactic Classification Board. His wrinkled, tentacled form floated in a hover chair at the back of the auditorium. "Young Zyx'tral has made some compelling arguments," Zlobnax continued, his voice creaking like an old airlock. "I move that we immediately reclassify Earth and open discussions about potential Federation membership for humans." The auditorium erupted once again, but this time with a mix of excitement and nervous energy. Zlobnax rarely spoke at these meetings, and when he did, his words carried enormous weight. As the attendees began to cast their votes, Zyx'tral felt a tentacle on his shoulder. He turned to see Blorp standing beside him, all 7 eyes focused intently on his face. "I owe you an apology, Zyx'tral," Blorp said, his voice uncharacteristically soft. "I thought I was sending you on a fool's errand. Instead, you may have just changed the course of galactic history." Zyx'tral's body flushed a deep blue with embarrassment. "I was just doing my job, sir, observing and reporting like you taught me." Blorp chuckled, a sound like rocks in a cement mixer. "Oh, you did far more than that, my boy. You looked beyond the numbers and saw the bigger picture. That's the mark of a true cartographer." As they turned back to watch the voting results come in, Zyx'tral couldn't help but think about the humans he'd encountered. What would they make of all this? How would they react to learning they weren't alone in the universe? He imagined that child in the park, eyes wide with wonder at the prospect of real aliens. He thought about the joggers, pushing their bodies to the limit simply because they could. He remembered the scientists he'd observed, working tirelessly to unravel the mysteries of their world and beyond. Humans, Zyx'tral realized, were a lot like their planet, full of potential danger, yes, but also brimming with life, energy, and endless possibilities. The results of the vote flashed up on the holographic display. It was close, but the motion had passed. Earth would be reclassified, and humanity would be considered for Federation membership. As the auditorium buzzed with excitement and apprehension, Zyx'tral felt a strange sensation. It took him a moment to recognize it as anticipation. The galaxy was about to get a lot more interesting, and he couldn't wait to see what happened next. "Well," he muttered to himself, his gelatinous form quivering with barely contained excitement, "this should be fun." Little did Zyx'tral know that at that very moment, on a blue-green planet spinning through space, a young boy named Jimmy was looking up at the stars, dreaming of the day he'd meet a real alien. The universe, it seemed, had a sense of humor after all. Epilogue: 1 Earth year later. Zyx'tral adjusted his new Federation diplomatic uniform, still marveling at how the humans had managed to design something that could accommodate his gelatinous form. He stood, or rather, oozed in a vaguely upright manner, at the podium facing a sea of human faces. Chimeras flashed, and he could hear the excited murmur of the crowd. "People of Earth," he began, his voice translated seamlessly into dozens of human languages. "On behalf of the Galactic Federation, I am honored to officially welcome humanity to the interstellar community." The crowd erupted in cheers, whistles, and applause. Zyx'tral waited for the noise to die down before continuing. "A little over 1 of your Earth years ago, I came to your planet believing it to be a deadly, inhospitable world. I couldn't have been more wrong. Yes, Earth presents unique challenges, but you, its inhabitants, have shown a remarkable ability to adapt, innovate, and thrive." He paused, his sensory organs scanning the crowd. Near the front, he spotted a familiar face, the young boy from the park, Jimmy, sitting on his father's shoulders. The child's eyes were wide with wonder, a huge grin plastered across his face. "Your curiosity, your resilience, your unwavering spirit of exploration. These are the qualities that have earned you a place among the stars. The road ahead will not be easy. There will be challenges, misunderstandings, and obstacles to overcome. But I have faith that humanity will face these challenges the same way you've faced every challenge your world has thrown at you, with determination, creativity, and an indomitable spirit." As Zyx'tral concluded his speech, he couldn't help but reflect on the journey that had brought him to this moment, from a terrified junior cartographer to the Federation's ambassador to Earth. All because he'd been willing to look beyond his preconceptions and see the true potential of this remarkable world and its people. The ceremony continued, with human leaders signing the official Federation membership documents. As Zyx'tral watched, he felt a familiar presence beside him. "Quite a change from classifying uninhabited planets, eh?" Blorp said, his 7 eyes twinkling with amusement. Zyx'tral's body rippled with laughter. "Just a bit. Though I have to say I'm a little worried about how the rest of the galaxy will handle humans. They can be quite unpredictable." Blorp made a sound that might have been a snort. "Oh, I think the galaxy could use a bit of shaking up. Besides, can you imagine humans encountering some of our more unusual member species? Now that's going to be entertaining." As if on cue, they watched as a human diplomat attempted to shake hands with a crystalline being from the Andromeda galaxy, only to quickly pull back when they realized the alien's body was composed entirely of razor-sharp edges. "Oh dear," Zyx'tral muttered. "Perhaps we should have included a section on interspecies greetings in the welcome package." Blorp's body shook with silent laughter. "Don't worry, they'll figure it out. Humans are nothing if not adaptable. That's why they're here, after all." As the ceremony drew to a close, Zyx'tral found himself approached by a small human figure. It was Jimmy, the boy from the park, now sporting a t-shirt with the Galactic Federation logo. "Mr. Alien Ambassador, sir," Jimmy said, his voice filled with awe. "I knew you were real. Can you tell me about your planet? Do you have cool spaceships? Can I visit someday?" Zyx'tral felt a warmth spread through his gelatinous form. This, he realized, was what it was all about. Not just classification systems or diplomatic treaties, but the simple, pure wonder of discovery. "Well, Jimmy," he said, leaning down, or rather compressing his form slightly to meet the boy's eyes, "let me tell you about a planet called Zyx'tral. It's a world of endless oceans and floating cities, where the sky is always purple and the fish fly through the air." As Zyx'tral regaled the wide-eyed child with tales of his homeworld, he couldn't help but feel excited about the future. Humanity was taking its first steps into a larger universe, and he had a feeling they were going to fit right in. After all, if there was one thing he'd learned about humans, it was this: they might come from a world that the galaxy once considered too dangerous to inhabit, but that had only made them stronger. And now, with the entire universe as their playground, there was no telling what they might achieve. The galaxy, Zyx'tral mused, had better buckle up. It was in for quite a ride.